Kotagiri Ramakrishnan Delhi. Today I'm going to give a small presentation on why projects fail. So, why projects fail? It's $1 million question. Many project leaders and team members often ask themselves when their projects get failed. There are many causes of project failure, and every failed project will have its own set of issues. And sometimes it is a single trigger event that leads to failure, but more often than not, it is a complex, knotted set of problems that combine and cumulatively result in failure. Generally, these issues fall into two categories: things the team did do, and second, things the team failed to do or ignored to do. But today, I would like to address few common mistakes that most projects tend to do, and while doing those common mistakes they are they are led to or contribute to the failure of the projects. First thing I would say that eyes are bigger than the budget. Businesses need goals and dreams. Leaders need to temper them with healthy dose of reality and expectation setting. But do the leaders do do the actual work? But I don't see. When the projects fail, this imbalance is clearly seen, that the balance between the goals and expectations and the time given or the budget offered is not um, is not a matching. So naturally, projects do fail when this is when this is got an imbalance. And secondly, continuing to pursue bad ideas. Like there is a common saying in Hollywood. They say it is easy to make a bad film from a good script, but it is impossible to make a good film from a bad script. Though you won't always recognize a bad idea straight away, once you do, never assume that you will make it work or believe that you have put in too much effort to change the course, because most projects most projects put their visions and goals which are documented on the shelf and never used as a guide for subsequent decision making, which is one of the major reasons why projects do fail, because they don't follow the guide which they have set before starting their work. And project managers lack the interpersonal or organizational skills to bring people together and make things happen. And the second thing is working with wrong talent. Selecting the first available person to fill a role rather than waiting for the person who is best qualified. So, so it's always difficult to work with the wrong talent. And when we work with the wrong talent, it will be always have a place for lack of clarity of roles and responsibilities, which results in confusion, errors, and omissions, and which is not good for any project. So, failure to provide team with appropriate training in either the technology in use, nor the process the team will be using, or the business domain in which the system will function. This is also one of the main common mistake most projects do. And one more thing is death by committee. We call this as death by committee because project team members or project leaders fail to identify or engage the stakeholders who are very important for project to get success. And pushing a team that is already exhausted in doing even more is not at all good for any team, because a team is performing good, that doesn't mean that it should be overloaded. And when it is done, the performance will get affected naturally. And that's how the projects fail. Like adding more resources to an already late project causes additional strain on the leadership too. So We should not overload or we should not add resources to already a project going, which is not going in a right track. Like it's not meeting the deadlines, and if you are adding more resources to it, then it's not going to help the project, and project ultimately gets failed. The project requirements are written based on the assumptions, and everything will work as planned. But life is not like that, and it cannot be planned. And requirements to handle potential problems are more challenging situations that might occur or never considered. And failures to address excessive scope volatility or uncontrolled scope creep is also one of the major problems. And most importantly, I would discuss about the estimating process. While estimating a process, many of the project team leaders or management fail to identify the actual performers, and they are excluded from the estimating process, which results in assumptions will go wrong because the assumptions used for estimating are never documented, discussed, or validated. And if you are not putting the right persons who are performing in the estimating process, there will be no idea how to do or how to validate the things because there is no document to see if what has gone wrong. So planning is seen as a project manager's sole responsibility rather than team activity, and it should not be like that. Even the team should take the ownership of the project, then only it will go in the right track. Unclear roles and responsibilities lead to confusion and gaps. Finally, when things don't go in our way or planned way, we should have a risk management plan. But a risk management plan is seen as an independent activity rather than integral part of the planning process. And if we put the risk management in a planning process rather than independent activity, maybe that these projects might not fail. But finally, I would like to say is that if proper care taken to address these common mistakes made by many projects, then definitely many projects will get success rather than getting failed. So I so I thank all my colleagues and Dr. Griffin for taking this time to hear my presentation on why projects fail. I thank you very much for the valuable time. Thank you.